Hello grade 5, I am your Sir Collin and welcome to the week 6 of our video tutorial lesson. For this week, we are still in first quarter and we will discuss this time module number 10, Fun with Multiplying Fractions Using Models. In this module, you are going to visualize the multiplication of fractions using models. You may use pieces of paper and other materials for the purpose of illustrating fractions. Always remember to shade fractions in cross directions and also in paper folding. Let us start with this opening problem. What's new? Father owns a 3/4 hectare piece of land. He planted 1/3 of it with sweet corn. What part of his land was planted with sweet corn? To solve this problem, let us first know what is asked in this problem. What part of his land was planted with sweet corn? So what is asked there is the part of land planted with sweet corn. What are the given? The given that we have here are the 3/4 hectare piece of land and of course the 1/3 part which is planted by sweet corn. Now, this problem can be solved through an illustration. For example, you have to illustrate 3/4 or 1/3 of 3/4. In this problem, you are only asked to get 1/3 of 3/4. However, it would be best if you will illustrate this problem through a model or drawing. For example, this is the piece of land that the father owned. The next thing that you have to do is illustrate 1/3. In order for us to show 1/3, what shall we do is we will divide this land into 3 equal parts, and of course, we will just shade one part of it. This portion or this shaded portion with blue lines is what we call 1/3. That's 1 out of 3 equal parts. The next thing that we have to do is also to show 3/4. And to show 3/4, I will use this portion and I will divide this portion into 4 equal parts. If this is 1/3, this portion, of course, to show 3/4, I will have to shade 1, 2, 3 parts out of 4 equal parts. So, this is what we call 3/4. The region here, shaded with red lines, is what we call 3/4. Now, when we say 1/3 of 3/4, those are the regions shaded by both 1/3 and also shaded by 3/4. So the regions here, here, and here are shaded twice. It was shaded with 1/3 and of course shaded with 3/4. Therefore, when you are getting 1/3 of 3/4, what will you get here is 3 equal parts out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 equal parts after we already divided this region into 3 equal parts and 4 equal parts of that 1/3 and of that 3/4. Therefore, if you will just only have to get 1/3 of 3/4, or this 1/3 of 3/4 can be also written as 1/3 times 3/4. So that's just very simple. So 3 parts are shaded twice, and that is equal to 3 out of 12 equal parts. So when we are getting the 1/3 of 3/4, it's just like multiplying 1 times 3, which is equal to 3 here, and 4 times or 3 times 4 is equal to 12. Therefore, when we say 1/3 of 3/4 to this illustration, that is equal to 3/12. And if you are to multiply that, all you have to do is just multiply the numerator by numerator, which is equal to 3, and of course the denominator by the denominator, which is equal to 12. Therefore, the correct answer is 3/12 of the land or piece of land planted with sweet corn. Let's try more. Let's try to look at the given in what is it. In number 1, you are asked there to get 1/2 of 1/2. Of course, in order for you to illustrate 1/2 of 1/2, all you have to do is to make a model or that rectangular model. Of course, when you say 1/2 of 1/2, you will have to divide the length or the longer side of this rectangular model into 2 equal parts. And of course, you have to shade one part of it to show 1/2. So here is what we called 1/2. This region with those lines is what we called 1/2. And of course, to illustrate the other 1/2, all you have to do is to divide the width portion or the shorter portion of this rectangular model into 2 equal parts. That's it. The next thing that you have to do is, of course, this is one part of these two parts. That's why this is 1/2. And this is also 1/2 here. But we will just only shade one out of 2 equal parts. One part, 2 parts. So we will just shade one out of these 2 equal parts. So if you could see here, it is very obvious that what portion of this rectangular model shaded twice using these blue lines and the red lines. So that's only one part out of 1, 2, 3, 4 equal parts after we already divided this whole rectangular model into 1/2 and another 1/2. So that means that 1/2 of 1/2 is equal to 1/4. Now, if you are to write this in multiplication sentence, that's 1/2 times 1/2. That is also equal to 1/4 because if you will multiply 1 times 1 is equal to 1 and 2 times 2 that is equal to 4. Therefore, the answer is 1/4. The next thing that we have to do is to illustrate 1/2 of 2/3. So we will make another model. Of course, to illustrate 1/2, we have to divide this whole region into 2 equal parts. Of course, the length will be divided into 2 equal parts, this part and that part. So this portion here is 1 out of 2 equal portion, or this is equal to 1/2. The next thing that we have to do is to illustrate 2/3. So the width or the shorter part of this rectangular model will be divided into 3 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. 3 equal parts. And of course, we will just shade 2 parts out of the 3 equal parts. So this portion here is what we call 2/3. That's 2 out of 3 equal parts. So if you noticed here, we made 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 regions. That's 6 regions. Out of that 6 regions, how many regions were shaded twice using that blue lines and the red lines? There are only 2, shaded by blue and shaded by red. So 2 out of 6. Therefore, when we say 1/2 of 2/3, that's also equal to 1 times 2 is equal to 2, and 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So that's 2 6. However, this fraction is not yet in the simplest form. We could still divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2. So therefore, when we say 1/2 of 2/3, that would give us 2 divided by 2 is equal to 1, and 6 divided by 2 is equal to 3. That's 1/3. So our final answer is 1/3. Why 1/3? Because this is one part of 3 equal parts. Which are the 3 equal parts that I am referring to? This is one part, 2 regions. This is another part, 2 regions. And this is another part. Medyo iba lang yung form, but still 2 units pa rin. 2 units, 2 units. It simply means that when we say 2 6, that could be also expressed as 1/3, as shown in this illustration. 1 out of the 3 equal parts. Allow me to show you this time on how do we get 1/4 of 3/5. When we say 1/4 of 3/5, all we have to do is to first draw the model. The next thing that you have to do is to show 1/4. So I will divide you choose the length or the width. It's up to you. So 4 equal parts. I will divide the length into 4 equal parts and just shade one part out of 4. One part out of that 4 equal parts. This is what we call 1/4. The next thing that we have to do is to illustrate 3/5. Of course, to illustrate 3/5, I will divide the whole into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 3/5, 3/5 can be illustrated here. 1, 2, 3 equal parts. So I will shade 3 parts. Okay, now notice our illustration here. There are 3 parts shaded twice, shaded by blue and shaded by red, 3 parts. And of course, how many equal parts do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. So there are 20 equal parts. Therefore, if you are asked to get 1/4 of 3/5, that's 3/20th. Because, obviously, 1 times 3 is equal to 3, and 4 times 5 is equal to 20. Therefore, the correct answer for number 3 is 3/20th. Let's try this one. 1/2 of 2 and 1/2. The first thing that we have to illustrate here is the 2 and 1/2. So all we have to do is to make 2 and 1/2 models. So that's one. We have another one that makes us 2. And of course, another one. But this one, I think we have to divide it into, to illustrate 1/2, we have to divide it into 2 equal parts. And of course, we will just get one part of the 2 equal parts and shade it. So this is 1/2 here. So 2 and 1/2 is this one. One part and another part, or I mean another whole. So we have 2 wholes and 1/2. However, if you noticed here, this portion is not equal to these 2 bigger wholes or these 2 bigger portions. So all you have to do to make them equal, we could draw an imaginary line here that would show us that this one is as big as this one and as big as this one. Okay? So, of course, in order for us to show equal parts, we will also have to divide this using the imaginary line. Okay? So, this is equal to 1/2 and 1/2. So, these 6 portions now are equal. And when we say 2 and 1/2, that would also equal to 5/2. Remember, if we are to change our our mixed form into improper, we have to multiply the denominator by the whole number. Then you add the numerator. So 2 times 2 is equal to 4 plus 1 that is equal to 5. And copy the denominator to 5/2. Exactly. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 out of 2. Where did I get 2? Of course, in one whole, there are 2 equal parts, or the whole is just divided in 2 equal parts. We are comparing, or I mean the denominator here is compared to the number of parts in one whole. So 5/2, or 2 and 1/2. The next thing that we have to do is to show 1/2. When we say you have to get the 1/2 or half of this 2 and 1/2, you have to divide this into 2 equal parts and just shade a portion of it, or one portion out of 2, to show 1/2. And of course, 1/2 is here. After that one, observe if how many regions were shaded twice using diagonals or blue diagonal lines and the red diagonal lines. Of course, we have here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 parts. Next thing that we have to do is, this time, we have to look at how many equal parts are there in one whole. Again, I will repeat, in one whole only. This one whole has 4 equal parts, this one whole 4 also, and this one whole 4. Therefore, our denominator should be 4. Now, so why our answer is 5/4? 5/4. Is it really correct? Let's see. So when we say 1/2 of 2 and 1/2, you just get 1/2 times 2 and 1/2, which is also equal to 5/2, as what I have discussed a while ago, changing or expressing our mixed form into improper. Then all you have to do is just multiply numerator by numerator, which is equal to 5. 1 times 5 is 5, and 2 times 2 is equal to 4. So that's 5/4. However, this fraction is an improper, so we could change that into mixed form. How many 4 we can get from 5? That's equal to 1. And what will be left if we will subtract 4 from here? That's 1. Then copy the denominator 4. That's 1 and 1/4. Which then is 1 and 1/4 in this illustration. If you will transfer this portion to this portion, and you will transfer this portion to this portion, and of course, you just leave it there, so that will give us one whole, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, adding this 2 here, or transferring this 2 here. So that's one whole, and of course, 1 out of 4 equal parts. So that's 1 and 1/4. So the correct answer for 1/2 of 2 and 1/2 is equal to 1 and 1/4. Let's try to solve this time a very challenging number, which is 1 and 1/2 of 2 and 2/3. Of course, in order for us to solve 1 and 1/2 of 2 and 2/3, as what I have told you a while ago, you could also express 2 and 2/3 first through an illustration or a drawing. Okay, this is 2 and 2/3. 1, 2, and 2/3. Of course, to show 2/3 here, I will have to divide it into 3 equal parts and just shade 2 parts. So this is 2 and 2/3. This whole part here, one whole, and another whole, and just 2 parts out of 3. However, if you notice here again, our portions are not equally the same, or I mean, they are not equal portions. So you could make an imaginary line here just to make our portions even. So in order for us to make all the portions or all the parts even, so when we say 2 and 2/3, that is also equal to a fraction which is 3 times 2 is equal to 6 plus 2 that is equal to 8. Then copy the denominator 3, so that is 8 thirds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 out of 3 equal parts in a whole. So that's what we called 8 thirds or 2 and 2 thirds. And as of this time, we will have also to illustrate 1 and 1 and 1 half. So how do we solve 1 and 1 half of 2 and 2 thirds? Now, of course, because we change we express 2 and 2 thirds into 8 thirds, we could also express 1 and 1 half into 3 halves. So all you have to do is to get 3 halves of 8 thirds, or when you say 3 halves, that is 3 1 half. So, of course, we have to divide this 8 thirds into 2 equal parts. This is one part, or this is 1 half. This is also another part which is equal to 1 half, but that's 3 halves. So when we say 3 halves, we will make again another 1 half of that 2 and 2 thirds. Another 1 half of that 2 and 2 thirds. So I will show again 2 and 2 thirds. I will copy what is seen there in order for me to make 1 half of it. So I will have to get 1 half of it. And this is another 1 half. So if you notice here, this is also 2 and 2 thirds. That's 2 and 2 thirds. And of course, that's 2 and 2 thirds here. There's another, why do I need to make another 2 and 2 thirds? In order for me to complete 3 halves. Because when you say 3 halves, that is 3 1 half. Tatlong 1 half. So this is 1 half, another half, and of course, to complete 3 halves, I have to make another half. Okay? So this time, I will shade my 3 halves. When I say 3 halves, that is 3 1 half. So I will have to shade this portion, and this portion. That's half. Here's another half. Here's another half. And here's another half. Okay. And of course, the last 1 half to complete my 3 halves. That's what I mean by 3 halves. All of this is 3 halves. And this is what we call 2 and 2 thirds. Now, try to observe if how many equal parts are shaded twice. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24. That's why our numerator is supposed to be 24. Exactly, because 3 times 8 is equal to 24. Now, try to look at if to how many equal parts the whole was divided. Actually, each whole here is divided into 6 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So our denominator should be 6. Exactly, because 2 times 3 is equal to 6. So, our answer is 24/6. However, this is an improper fraction, so we could also express that as 24 divided by 6, because fraction means division. So 24 divided by 6 is equal to 4. 4 times 4 is 24, then 0. So 24/6 is also equal to 4. Now, where is that 4 holes or 4 1 hole here in our illustration? This is 1. This is 2. And if you will just transfer these these two portions here, which is counted also, or that belongs also to 24, if you will transfer it here and here, so this will also make 1. Am I right? And of course, if you will transfer this 3 here. 1, 2, 3. You will transfer them here. Okay? If you will just transfer this 1, 2, 3 here, 1, 2, 3, that will make another one whole. Therefore, all of this will be shaded only once because you already transferred it here and you already transferred the 3 here. So therefore, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. Another way of solving this one is when we say 1 and 1/2 of 2 and 2/3, we could also have first one part of 2 and 2/3 first. So it simply means that if you will have to illustrate 2 and 2/3 first, let me move my paper. So that's 2 and 2/3. Okay, 2 and 2/3. So illustrating 2 and 2/3, I will have to get 2/3 here. And I will shade the hole here. Of course, I will shade one hole here. And another one hole here. And there's the 2/3. Okay, that's 2 and 2/3. However, the portions are not equally divided. So let's make an imaginary line just to show 2 and 2/3. So this is one part, or I mean, that is the one whole part of 2 and 2/3. Isang 1 and 2/3. Isang buong 1 and 2/3. So this is one part of isang buong 2 and 2/3. After that one, we will also have to get 1/2 of this 2 and 2/3. 1/2 of the 2 and 2/3. So going back to our illustration here, I will make another 2 and 2/3. Okay, so the next thing that I have to do is I will divide it into 3 equal parts. And of course, I will now shade 2 and 2/3. That's it. Because the portions are not equal again, I will have to make imaginary lines to divide them equally. Then of course, I will have to get 1/2 now. 1/2. Kanina, yung kinuha ko is 1. 1 whole, isang buong 2 and 2/3. Ngayon, kalahati ng 2 and 2/3. So when you say kalahati ng 2 and 2/3, this is half of the 2 and 2/3. So I will just only get half of it. Half. Kanina, ito, yung buong 2 and 2/3 talaga, kinuha natin yung buong 2 and 2/3. 2 and 2/3 na yan, yung buong 2 and 2/3. So, if you notice here, 1/2 of 2 and 2/3 is just only this portion. This portion only, half of this 2 and 2/3. So, if you notice here, yung dalawang portion na to, pag tinransfer natin dito, ito siya, yung dalawa. So that will make us one whole. Okay? So we already have 1, 2, 3 holes. If we will transfer it here. And of course, yung tatlong ito, if we will have to transfer it here, etong tatlo na yan, transfer it here, that will make us another whole. That will give us another one whole. Therefore, that is very consistent that if you will get 1 and 1/2, isang buong 2 and 2/3 at kalahati ng 2 and 2/3, you will also get 1, 2, 3, 4 holes. So that only justifies that 1 and 1/2 of 2 and 2/3 is equal to 24/6. Because if you will have to express 1 and 1/2 into improper fraction, so that will give us 3 halves. And if you will have to express 2 and 2/3 into fraction, that is 8/3. Then after that one, if you will multiply numerator by numerator, that is equal to 24. Denominator by denominator, that is equal to 6. Now, if you are to change this improper fraction to mixed form, just simply divide 24 by 6, so you will get 4. And your numerator is 0 because you don't have remainder here. And of course, your denominator is 6. However, if our fraction has a numerator of 0, so we need not to write that one because the value of fraction is already equal to 0. So therefore, the final answer is 4, which is illustrated in 2 solutions. you could use first solution or the second solution. You will also come up with the same answer, which is equal to 4. Is that clear? Let's try this time your what's more. Direction here says that do the following exercises below. Illustrate the given fraction and the product by shading the figure below. Of course, I'll be the one to provide you the figures that you will be needing for the shading. So this time, you are asked for number 1, 1/2 of 1/3. So for example, if you have here one hole, and you will have here another one hole. So in order for you to show 1/2, you have to divide this hole into two equal parts and just shade one part out of the two. So when you say 1/2, so here's the 1/2 portion. Okay, so you have to shade it. Of course, the next thing that you have to do here in this second rectangle, we will show 1/3, but we will shade the width portion in order for us to show 1/3. So when we say 1/3, we will divide the width into three equal parts. Then of course, just shade 1 out of 3. So that is equal to 1/3. So that's 1/3. Now, if you will have to combine these two illustrations into one, of course, when you say 1/2, you have to divide it into two equal parts, just like this one, and shade two parts, or I mean one part out of two. So that's 1/2. The next thing that we have to do is 1/3. So you will divide the width now into three equal parts, and of course, just shade one part, assuming that the regions here are equal. Okay, so this is equal to 1/3 this time. So if you will multiply them, what will be shaded here twice is this portion only. This portion only. So that is equal to one portion out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 equal portion to where the whole was divided. So therefore, if you will have 1/2 of 1/3, or you will multiply 1/2 times 1/3, so that is 1 times 1 is equal to 1, 2 times 3 is equal to 6, which is correct. Let's try another example. I want you to try item number 2 this time. This time, let us answer what is 3/4 of 3/5. Of course, when we say 3/4 of 3/5, that could be illustrated if you will have here a one hole model, one whole rectangular model, and you will have to divide it into four equal parts, just shade three parts. So divide it into four equal parts this time, and just shade three parts. Assuming that the regions here are equal. Sorry, figures are not drawn to scale. So that's 3/4. This time, we have to get 3/4 of 3/5. So I will make another model. And of course, I will divide the width now into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? Then I will have to show 3/5. So when I say 3/5, I will just shade 3 parts out of 5. That's 3/5. Now, if I will combine them now into this only one whole figure, it simply means that our answer would be divided into 4 equal parts to show 3/4. So to show 3 out of 4 or 3/4, we have to divide it into 4 equal parts and just shade 3 parts out of 4. That's 3/4. This one here, that's 3/4. The next thing that we have to do is to divide the whole into 5 equal parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And of course, you will just only shade 3 parts out of that 5 equal parts. So that would show us this portion is what we call 3/5. Okay? So if you notice here, this is 3/5. Combining it into one whole region. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 9 parts were shaded twice. And of course, out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 8, 12, 16, 20. 20 equal parts. So therefore, if you will multiply or get the 3/4 of 3/5, that will give us 9/20. Or, when I say 3/4 times of means times 3/5, that would give us this time 3 times 3 is equal to 9, 4 times 5 is equal to 20, therefore 9/20. So that's the answer for number 2. Did you get it correctly? How about what's more? Letter B. Illustrate the fractions given using the figures. Now, you will get 2/4 of 2 and 3/8. So, it would be best if you will start with a bigger number. Then, of course, when we say 2/4, that could be also illustrated as 1/2, because if you will get the lowest term of 2/4, that could be also expressed as 1/2. Now, when we say 2 and 3/8, I will make 2 wholes, and this is 1 and another 1. Then, of course, another whole to show, or another 1 whole to show 3/8. So it simply means that I will divide it into 8 equal parts. It would look like this one. Wow, very small portions. Okay, and I will just shade 1, 2, 3 parts. So this is 3/8. Okay, so this is 3/8 this time. 3 out of the 8 equal parts. Sorry, my ball pen is not working well. Okay, that's 3/8. Of course, that's 2 and 3/8. So this will be divided a whole. This whole will be shaded. And of course, you could also divide this whole into 8 equal parts in order to show equal parts, just as big as your 3/8. Okay, so I will also divide it into 8 equal parts. So 1 whole, and 3/8. So approximately, at least we do have almost the same sizes of regions. Then after that one, you get the 1/2 or 2/4. You could get 1/2 or 2/4. When you say 2/4, we will have to divide it into 4 equal parts. Okay. After that one, you will only shade half of it. 2 out of that 4. 2 out of that 4, and 2 out of that 4. Now, if you will try to observe here, how many parts were shaded twice? So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. 16 also here. So 16 plus 16, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38. So 38 equal parts were shaded. And of course, our denominator will be the number of parts one whole was divided. So each whole here was divided into 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8, 16, 24, 32. So our answer is 32, or 38, I mean, over 32, or 38 32nd. And of course, we could also express this into its simplest form by simply dividing both the numerator and the denominator by 2. So that will give us 19. Sorry, can be seen. 19 over, I think that's 16. Okay? So this one is an improper. We could still write that into mixed form. How many 16 are there in 19? That's 1. Then, of course, if we will subtract 16 from here, so what will be left is 3 over 16. Let's try if the answer is really 1 and 3/16. We will transfer the whole thing here, here. Okay? So if we will transfer this 8 here, that will give us 1 whole. That's our 1 whole. Okay? So, and where did you get 3/16? Of course, this is 1 part, 2, 3, that's 3 parts, 3 parts, that's 3. And out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, we have 8 parts here and another 8 parts here, 16. So 3/16. Or that is also equal to 4/32. Okay, this 4/32, which if lowest term is if expressed into 4/30, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sorry, that's supposed to be 6/32. That 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 out of 32, if expressed in simplest form, both numerator and denominator can be divided by 2. So 6 divided by 2 is 3. 32 divided by 2 is 16. So that's also 1 and 3 over 36. 1 and 3 over 36. Let's try to do it here without those figures anymore. Let's try to have 2/4 times 2 and 3/8, which also could be expressed as 8 times 16 plus 3, that's 19 over 8. Okay? So numerator by numerator, that is equal to 38. And denominator by denominator, that is equal to 32. Same as this one. Now, if expressed in the simplest form, we will also divide it by 2, so that will give us 19 over 16. Now, this one could be expressed into improper or mixed form, so that will give us 1 and 3/16. I will give you item number 4 and number 5 as the activity that you will have to do. That's what's more of your activity. After that one, you could check the answer key and try to see if your answers are the same with what is expected. Okay, so your item number 4 and item number 5, try it by yourself this time. Let's try this time what I can do of your module. Here in what I can do, illustrations here are given. So all you have to do is to give the fraction of the illustration, or give the fraction illustrated by the figure and illustrate the product in the indicated figure. So here I will give number 1 as an example. The rest of the activities in your module, kindly do it by yourself and check if your answers are correct. Refer it to your answer key. So this time, all we have to do is give the fraction of this illustration. This illustration here, the whole was divided into 2 equal parts, and what part is shaded is 1, so this shows 1/2. In this illustration here, the whole was divided into 4 equal parts, and the shaded part is just only 1, so that's 1/4. So you are only asked to get 1/4 of, or I mean 1/2 of 1/4. So in order to do that, you have to divide this whole into 2 equal parts. And of course, you have to shade just one part of it, just to show this figure 1/2 here. Okay, the next thing that you have to do is to divide the whole into, the width of the whole into 4 equal parts. And of course, you will just only shade one part out of the 4 equal parts. So that will show us this one is this one. So as what you have seen here, this is 1/2. And here, this is 1/4. So if you will multiply 1/2 and 1/4, the parts here shaded twice is only this portion. That's just one portion out of the whole here. This time is divided into 8 equal parts. So the correct answer is 1/8. 1 point for this one, and 1 point for this one. Of course, if we will multiply 1 times 1, that is equal to 1, and 2 times 4, that is equal to 8. So that's just very easy if you are just multiplying fraction. So the rest of the items, number 2 to number 5, is for you to do. I think this time you are now ready to answer your assessment. For your assessment, let us find out what you can do. So all you have to do is to read the statements below, illustrate, and write the letter of the answer in your worksheet. For item number 1, you could pause this video in order to answer number 1. Which figure illustrates 1/2 of 1/2? For item number 2, which model shows 1/4 of 1 and 2/3? You could pause this video and answer. For item number 3 to 5, which illustration below shows 3/5 of 1/4? For item number 4, illustrate 1/4 of 2/3. Which of the following figures is correct? For item number 5, what is 1/3 of 3/4? Pause this video to answer items number 3 to 5. For item number 6 and 7, number 6 represent 4/8 times 1/2. For item number 7, how will you illustrate 1/5 times 2/3? Pause this video and answer items number 6 and 7. For items number 8 and 9, number 8, which represents 1/3 times 2/4 correctly? For item number 9, which illustration shows 2/3 times 3/5? Finally, for item number 10, which is 3/10 times 1/2 in the following illustrations? That completes our module number 10, Fun with Multiplying Fractions Using Models. See you next time.